all this rare and unique content. Please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to 2024. Time sure does fly when you're having fun. Today we're going to look at a new magazine that is creating some controversy, of course, because it's a skeptical approach, a skeptical view, and some people don't like that. But as I always say, you have to look at the Sasquatch phenomenon from both sides, the believer side, quote unquote, and the skeptical side, to have a balanced outlook. It's very important. So please do not shun the skeptical side. Embrace it, and hopefully you will learn from it, because there's a lot of valid points with skepticism in general, of course. And there's been a lot of talk about this magazine and a build-up for its release, and I was under the impression, as you can see on the screen, there it is right there, Bigfoot is Dead, Skeptical Inquirer. I was under the impression that it was just a virtual online magazine issue. Of course, Skeptical Inquirer has been around for many years and has been in print for many years. I'm very pleased to see that it is indeed a print copy. And I was able to find the copy that you see here at one of my local bookstores. So maybe you could find it too. And once again, it is Skeptical Inquirer, the magazine for science and reason. This is volume 48, number 1, January, February 2024. And on the cover, boldly stated, is Bigfoot is Dead. And in looking at the artwork on the cover, it's quite profound. So take a look at that. I have to bite my tongue here because I want to say things and I want to give an opinion, but that's not what these mag snags are about. It's just to make you aware that there are magazines, current magazines, covering the topic of Bigfoot Sasquatch. And as I always say in my mag snags, I'm only going to show you a small portion of the article, because I want the magazine to fully go through its circulation schedule, and I would hate for any magazine to not sell because I or someone else is showing the entire article. I'm a firm believer that magazines are an important piece of the puzzle and an important piece to educate, but maybe I'm old school. So as you can see, the cover is quite intriguing, and when we open up the magazine and look at the TOC, otherwise known as the table of contents, you can see right there on the top left, page 31, is Bigfoot Dead by Benjamin Radford. What's interesting is the name of the article does not match what's on the cover. The cover is quite bold with stating Bigfoot is Dead. However, Radford's article is actually titled, Is Bigfoot Dead? I find that interesting, and maybe you do too. I also find it interesting that the editor, and you can see it there under columns from the editor, Bigfoot is Dead, page 4. So let's flip there. I find it interesting that an editor has devoted, and you'll see it right now, the editor has devoted his entire editorial about the article. And you rarely find that. Rarely, in my experience at least. And I'm just going to read the beginning of this, and I'm only going to show you a portion of it because, again, I do want you to buy this magazine if you normally purchase magazines. And even if you don't, especially if you're a collector like me, it's a must-have. So from the editor, and the editor is Stephen Hupp, Bigfoot is Dead. Let me just turn this my way. In our cover story, Ben Radford asks, is Bigfoot dead? In the article, before considering the evidence, we first encounter a history of key developmental milestones, such as Bigfoot's 1958 birth in the pages of the Humboldt Times based on footprints discovered in California. In the years that followed, the idea of Bigfoot continued to develop, with evidence, such as the 1967 film of the beast's stroll through a forest, fortunately captured on a nearby camera by two men trying to film a Bigfoot. And I'll leave it there. I do have some issues with that, but I'm not going to say anything. I'll just leave that for the reader. Just leave that. So the article, as I stated, is on page 31. So I'm going to turn to page 31 physically here as I'm looking at the magazine, and you're going to see a bit of the article. I'm only going to show a portion of the first page, and I'll show you some of the artwork, which I think is pretty cool too. And I'm just going to give you a synopsis of some things. So is Bigfoot dead? Again, Benjamin Radford, someone who is quite well known and recognized in the skeptical field of cryptozoology and Bigfoot. And I will read his bio a little later. But let's take a look at part of the first page. And what stands out to me is a past issue, and it shows the cover, a past issue cover of the Skeptical Inquirer, and they're showing that for a very good reason. And I'll start by reading what Benjamin has written here, because it's pertinent to why you see the Skeptical Inquirer past issue shown there. So, 20 years ago, in this magazine, I wrote an overview of the evidence for Bigfoot, titled Bigfoot at 50, a half century of Bigfoot evidence. It was meant to give skeptics and lay folk alike a concise overview of the variety and quality of evidence proffered to date for the existence of the elusive bipedal creature said to roam North America. I'm going to leave it right there. So, interestingly, it's just over 20 years ago that Radford penned what became, I think, the third article to grace the cover of Skeptical Inquirer pertaining to Bigfoot. I'm flipping the page here, and I'm gonna just again show you a little bit. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm just showing you a snippet of this. So what Radford has done here is he's given a timeline, Bigfoot's demise in the 21st century. There's a few things that I would like to show here that stand out to me. And I'm just really struggling not to comment. Sorry, Ben, but hit me up if you want to know what issues I take with this. But it's not a believer's issue. It's just there's some things that aren't jibing here that I think you may want to reconsider if you do a follow-up article. But anyways, that's really here nor there. I mean, everyone has their opinion. It's just some things don't really mesh so well. Taking a look at, so what Ben has done is he's gone from the year 2000 up to 2023, and of course 2000, I mean, just makes sense to start there. And let's just jump over to 2007. I'm going to read this, and I'm just going to leave it there and let people think about this. 2007, Monster Quest, which in my opinion was an amazing show, and I really can't wait till the newer one comes out, which is in the works as we speak. Monster Quest, a cryptozoology themed reality TV show, premieres on the History Channel network. The show ended after 4 seasons, having covered Bigfoot or some version thereof in at least a dozen episodes, popularizing and legitimizing the scientific search for Sasquatch. However, the show never provided credible evidence. Yeah, okay. We'll just leave it at that. And I'm gonna jump down to 2011, and I'll let you read this. But it's again, I'm showing a snippet here. Finding Bigfoot. It's about the reality show Finding Bigfoot. Maybe I will read it. Finding Bigfoot, a reality TV show, premieres on the Animal Planet Network. The hit show featured a small cast of researchers, including Matt Moneymaker, founder and president of the BFRO, he was actually a co-founder, and James Fay, aka Bobo, a burly backwoodsman. Pattern after shows such as Ghost Hunters and Monster Quest, the team would interview eyewitnesses, review evidence, and attempt to collect photographic, audio, or forensic evidence, often during stakeouts and using infrared cameras and thermal too. The show's run ended in 2018, never having achieved the title's promise. Absolutely. I can't argue that Finding Bigfoot has, to date, not found Bigfoot. Anyways, there's a lot of good stuff in there, and a lot of it's hard to argue with, because when you're a skeptic, nothing but a body or a part of a body will do. And I get that. And all the quote-unquote believers really need to get that and understand that. It's an uphill battle. On page 34, there's I'm just going to show you the famous film still of Patty. One of the headlines is, "Where's the Bigfoot beef?" And on the next page, on 35, blaming the skeptics. And what's nice about this article is it's lengthy. And on page 37, he talks about the future of Bigfoot, shows some different art again, and the last page, great summary. I think that by and large, Benjamin Radford, he takes a fair approach, and that I appreciate. Yes, he's a skeptic, but he's kind to the quote-unquote believers, and he's not demeaning or belittling. And I don't know Ben, but I think he would love for there to be a Sasquatch, if you know what I mean. Those skeptics are interesting because, they want to believe, but they don't necessarily want to say that they might believe, but they would love for there to be a Sasquatch. Let's put it that way. So Ben's bio is interesting, so let's just take a look at this, and I hope he's okay with me reading this. I mean, it's kind of a plug for him. Benjamin Radford is author of dozens of articles and several books about mysterious creatures, including Tracking the Chupacabra, the Vampire Beast in Fact, Fiction, and Folklore, and, with Joe Nickel, Lake Monster Mysteries, investigating the world's most elusive creatures. His original research on Bigfoot, the Champ Lake Monster, Mothman, the Lizard Man, and others have appeared in Skeptical Inquirer for over 20 years. He is a folklorist and research fellow with the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry and co-founder of the Squaring the Strange podcast, along with Celestia Ward, whose art appears in this issue. And kudos to Celestia. Hopefully I'm saying Celestia's name right. I love the artwork, and I hope she or he, I'm guessing she, doesn't mind that I'm showing a little bit of that, but I'll give credit where credit's due. Beautiful work, and if you have some for sale, hopefully people can buy it. So Google that name, and maybe you'll find some of that artwork for sale. And look at purchasing some of Ben's books. I've got at least 2 of his books, I believe, and I've enjoyed them. Again, I think he takes a very fair stance on what he writes about. Anyways, back to the cover. Skeptical Inquirer, Bigfoot is dead. I have to say I'm guilty of clickbaiting too, because the title of this mag snag is Bigfoot is Dead, and the magazine is clickbaiting, so to speak, because that's really not the name of the article. It may be the conclusion that Ben has come to, but it's a little deceptive because it's not the title of the article, but that's neither here nor there, really. I understand, and I appreciate that magazines want to capture your attention and continue selling to stay in business. Do your part, please, and go out and buy a copy of this magazine and other magazines. Keep that medium alive. I think it's important. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful 2024. And as I've said before, there's many more things coming your way. It's just got a lot of things going on with the new job and house repairs. But this is the start of 2024. There'll be another Mag Snag number 7 will be coming soon. And then I'm going to be refurbishing, so to speak, some of the old material and adding some things to those. So enjoy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
If you're enjoying all this rare and unique content, please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.